Zelda U. Words can't even describe how much I want that game. I'm dead serious. The spoken language is just incapable of communicating how deeply my soul aches for that game. By my estimate, it's still about 14 or 15 years off, so in the meantime, I thought it would be fun to take a look back at all 5 of Zelda's 3D entries and rank them in order from my favorite to my slightly less favorite. Because let's face it, even the weakest Zelda games are still just the best. Let's start with number 5. Oh, Skyward Sword. If I were to make a video detailing exactly what I thought about Skyward Sword, it would probably be longer than the average playthrough of Skyward Sword. Now, don't get me wrong, it's definitely a good game, and I enjoyed it. It's got the stamina meter, and item upgrades, and a whole bunch of stuff that really stands out and advances the series. But it's the only 3D Zelda that I can say is severely flawed in a lot of areas, and the only one that frustrated and disappointed me repeatedly. Those flaws don't ruin the whole experience, but they make it an easy choice for the bottom of the list. The problem with ranking some of the best games ever is that somebody's got to take the lower slots, but even though I'm placing Majora's Mask just above last place, it deserves a big ol' heap of praise. The sense of dread it conveys is unparalleled in any other Zelda, and it leads to some of the series' most poetic and emotional moments. In fact, between the story and atmosphere and the mask mechanic, it's without a doubt the most unique of Link's adventures, and that level of originality is something I would love to see again. A lot of the masks don't quite live up to their full potential, and a disproportionate chunk of the playtime is spent out of dungeons doing mini-quests, so while the game is phenomenal, I would say it's just barely flawed enough to come in at number 4. Like most, I was somewhat miffed when Wind Waker was first revealed. That didn't last long, however, because Wind Waker is a gorgeous and altogether fantastic game. I could go on about its strong points, but really it's all about that ocean. I didn't care that not every square of the map had something amazing. Exploring that sea and uncovering each area was a thrill. Open exploration is something I'm way into, so having that freedom was really empowering. Heck, you know how everyone hates that Triforce Piece fetch quest? Yeah, never gave it a second thought. It didn't matter if I was hunting for the holy gift of the gods or a red rupee. Treasure hunting was just a blast, and Wind Waker sits pretty at number 3. From a purely technical standpoint, a lot of people could argue that Ocarina of Time is the weakest of the bunch, and they're probably right. I don't feel it's aged quite as badly as most, but it was the game Nintendo cut their teeth on as far as 3D Zeldas went. Despite that, however, I've got to give it credit for what it achieved, and most importantly, how it made me feel. Mario 64 blew my mind, but Ocarina of Time was the first game that was like, what? What? This is what games can be? It was the first game that instilled within me a sense of beauty and magic. It was the first world I just plain wanted to be in, even if I wasn't actually doing anything. Sure, it's a really subjective way to look at it, but its importance was strong enough that no matter how much time goes by, there will always be a special place for this game in my heart. Tell me I've got my nostalgia goggles on, I don't even care. I love this game, and that's why it's number 2. I honestly didn't think anything could dethrone Ocarina of Time. In fact, even after it happened, it took a while before I could even admit it. But Twilight Princess did it for me. It wowed me in every way imaginable. Exploring this post-Ocarina of Time world felt epic and amazing. The atmosphere was so tense and moody. Parts of it were incredibly creepy and others cinematic. There were a million sword moves to learn. Aiming with the Wii Remote felt so comfortable and made shooting stuff stupid fun. Some people think they were ugly, but I thought the graphics were gorgeous with some insanely awesome character models. This was Zelda grown up. This was the Zelda I dreamed about for years, and never since have I gotten quite so invested in the world of a game. Nearly a decade later, I can definitely see its flaws a little more clearly. I'm no longer super jazzed on all of its motion controls. Most of the bosses are way too easy. The spinner has some great segments, though it's largely worthless. There's a lot about the game that people don't like, and I can sort of understand, but man, I just can't agree. Even with its, in my opinion, minor flaws, it wins on its sheer coolness factor alone. I mean, just look at, oh my gosh, oh man, whoa, look at those moves, oh, that was awesome, whoa, oh, this is the coolest game ever! Yeah, sorry other games, call me a big kid, but Twilight Princess is my number 1 3D Zelda game. Well, it's a simple law of nature that all Zelda fans like Zelda for different reasons and thus have wildly differing opinions about each game. So feel free to tear me apart down in the comments and tweet #TwilightPrincessSucks to ArloStuff. Or better yet, give me your own ranking. I'd love to see which 3D Zelda is your favorite and least favorite. I'll catch you next time. Twilight Princess forever!